Just quickly looking back on last weekend's game, how important was it to get that point and lift yourselves off the bottom of the championship?
Yeah, I think it was a great point for us. Away from home, a tough place to go, a place that we've struggled with actually this season, against a side that are doing really well in the league. So we knew it was always going to be a tough task, especially with going down to 10 men so early in the game and then later on again going down to 9. So I think the boys really stuck together and dug in, and all in all it's a good point away from home.
And how much of a boost does that give you facing the league leaders this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I think it just shows that the togetherness in the squad, especially when we need it most. Looking forward to these next 8 games, we really need to come together, and if we can take a point last week, then I don't see why we can't go ahead and build on it this week.
I know it's a bit of a cliche, people say at this time of the year saying it's 8 or 9 cup finals, but is that the case, I suppose, for the club just now?
Yeah, I think it's in our own hands. I think that's the beauty of this league. Obviously with so little teams, we still play everyone once besides obviously our Broth now. So like I said, our own destiny's in our own hands going forward.
What are you expecting from St Johnstone?
Yeah, we know they're a good side. Of course, they've been really good this season. They're flying top of the league. I know a few of the boys from there, so I know that they've got quality in their squad, but so do we. Of course, we've not shown it this season to where we should be, and we know that. But again, looking back at last week, the togetherness is there, so hopefully that can pull us through at the weekend and we can look to build on the point for last week.
Who do you know from the squad? Is that from playing at Motherwell or elsewhere? Or?
Yeah, come through in the academy, you get to know boys, and going to school as well. I went to performance school, so I know a few of the boys through that, and I've also played a couple of them. So yeah, I know the squad definitely has quality, but like I said, so does ours, so we shouldn't be fearing any challenge.
Just, we were obviously talking about how it's been 10 years since Ross County won the League Cup. How much inspiration can you take from that? Obviously there's plenty of pictures of that time as well, going into the end of the season and obviously wanting to stay in the Championship.
Yeah, definitely. Again, like you touched on, with 8 games remaining, I think the main focus for us is controlling what we can control. We play against 8 different opposition that we've already played this season, and I think if we can just do the business and take control of what we can, like I said, then the momentum can take us up the league.
That's all from me, thanks.
Perfect, thank you.
7 clean sheets, I think it is, in 10 league games. That's a great foundation, and it's just, if you win games 1-0, that's going to make such a difference.
Yeah.
And you've drawn twice 0-0 with St Johnstone.
Yeah, it's massive. I think the manager was really keen on building from that when he first came in the door, stripping it back and going back to the foundations of being hard to beat. I think if you look at the start of the season, we're a bit easy to play against, and we're starting to get a bit of a reputation. We don't want that. That's definitely not something we want to come away from. So yeah, like you said, 7 clean sheets out of 10 is not bad, but we now need to start adding the business at the top end as well and making sure we turn the draws into wins.
I know the bigger prize is to stay in the league, but the manager was manager of the month for February, and that's a team award as well, and it shows that things have been moving in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely, but again, if you look at the situation we're in, we're still near the bottom of the table, so we can't get carried away. Like I said, 8 games remaining, so if we stick together and take control of what we can, then I'm sure we'll be fine.
Your opposite end of the table from St Johnstone was touched on in a couple of close games with them. Do you feel like they're a team Ross County have lifted their game to go up against this season?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, we try not to look at the league table. We know they're a good side and they've got quality, but so do we. I can't emphasise that. Obviously, we've not shown it anywhere near what we should be this season, but again, it's 11v11 come Saturday, so I don't see why we can't roll up the sleeves and go out there and try to get the 3 points.
How tough has that been to deal with mentally when you know you've got the ability in the dressing room that just hasn't always shown at the start?
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's definitely frustrating that it's not clicked for whatever reason, I don't know. But again, like I said, the season's not done. All we can do is stick together and try to come out on top on each week and tick off each week as it comes, try to get as many points come the end of the season.
For you personally, back in the starting lineup at the weekend, I know you've had a few injury issues this year. Is that just quite nice to be back in the lineup and having that trust from the start?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a bit of a stop-start season, a frustrating one for me personally as well, knowing that I've not brought my quality anywhere near what I believe that I can do for the season. But again, that's probably been throughout the full squad, whether that be a lack of confidence or what. But yeah, like you said, once you've been out injured for a couple of weeks or whatever, you appreciate it more when you get back in the lineup, and yeah, I'm looking forward to going again.